So moving on to Medtech Integration. So in terms of Medtech Integration, we've been working closely with Medtech, and the intention being to be able to bring some Medtech information that your GPs might be recording into their own systems, and to be able to bring that information in to VCare. So the issue, and I guess it's an issue for most people in that their GPs might come on site, go away and make progress notes in their own systems, and then have to email them through to you, and you've got to attach them or re-enter them as progress notes or whatever. So there's a lot of rehandling of things, and potentially a lot of transcribing of notes back into the system again, which is never a good thing. And so what we've done is we've worked with Medtech, and I'd point out incidentally that Medtech's only the first of potentially several systems that we could do this sort of work with. But we've worked with Medtech to try and make this as seamless as possible. And so it is something where the GPs would need to agree to be passing the notes across. But I think most of the GPs that we've encountered around this, and that Medtech have talked to as well, are saying that it's a really good thing, and that they certainly will agree to it because it's less work on their part and just makes the data that much more accessible. So just run through some key features of it. There's the GP consultation notes. So if a GP makes some consultation notes within Medtech, those can automatically throw into VCare basically near real time. So the system that we have got set up with this already is doing it, I think, every 2 minutes. So a GP consultation note is only going to be sitting in Medtech for 2 minutes before it shows up as a progress note automatically in VCare, word for word, the same as what was put there. Diagnostic test results, so same thing, they go into Medtech, they can automatically be synced across into VCare progress notes near real time. Allergies and intolerances. We talked a wee bit earlier about those medical warnings that have been entered in Medtech. They can automatically be synced across into VCare as an alert. So we set up specific alert types that are linked to a specific Medtech medical warning, and those will show up with their own little icon and with the exact wording that's gone in as the medical warning at the Medtech end. There's also the ability to do on-demand access to a real-time summary of the resident's Medtech data. So one of the things that we always bear in mind with these integrations is we don't want to be storing data that's going to get out of date. So if we've stored a copy of somebody's Medtech summary and somebody relies on that, they're not seeing necessarily what a GP might have updated in Medtech. So we haven't done that. What we've done is we've put a button in there to give you on-demand access to go and view a real-time summary of the resident's Medtech data. So every time you push the button, it goes away to Medtech, pulls the data through again, so you're seeing the totally up-to-date record that GP or whoever has entered into their Medtech system. So I'll have a quick that the feature will be chargeable because obviously Medtech have done some development around it, we've done some development around it, and we'll continue to enhance that and add more aspects to it, I'm sure. So it will be a chargeable add-on, and the way that we've agreed with Medtech that we'll be doing that is it'll be a fee per resident accessed per month. So if you've got a resident where you're getting really regular consultation notes come through, every second day or whatever, it's not costing you every time a note comes through. It costs you once per month per resident, and then you can have as many notes or test results or on-demand lookups as you need to have during that month. Okay, and it's not just based on number of beds or residents that you've got either, because obviously we appreciate that you might have multiple GPs coming in and only some of them might be using Medtech. So it's only going to be on the residents who have a Medtech record that you have accessed at some stage during that month, or you have received a note from during that month. Okay, so let's have a quick look at
just while Richard's getting reconnected, we had a question came in about the meal module and the basis of which it's licensed. We'll be announcing that later in the year. However, once we've launched the module, we are using it actually in the European market, so in Malta and places like that. And it's licensed on a per bed, per bed per day basis over there. We'll make it quite simple here, so we'll work out a nice efficient thing, but it's basically on the residents that you've got and the meals that you're providing to them. If you're tracking it through the meals module, it'll be done on a per day pro rata that way. So there'll be an announcement coming on. It's been very, very popular in Europe, and particularly the Malta market, where they're very fussy about their food. They eat a lot better than all of us. And you think you're on a cruise ship with some of those things. And the modules there, it's been used for taking the meal preferences from the residents in advance, consolidating, passing to the kitchen, and providing an absolutely brilliant way for the kitchen to then produce and deliver the meals that are needed. Richard, are you ready to pick up again?
I am. I've logged back in, so that'll teach me for setting it up too far in advance. So what I'm going to do is just go into Florence Brown here in the VCare desktop. Can do this from the desktop and the browser apps as well. I'm just choosing to do it from the desktop this time. So it's Florence there. So what we're seeing here is, again, Florence's allergies here that have come through as medical warnings from Medtech. I've also got the ability to go to this external link, click on my Medtech link, and it's just going to take it a little minute, because what it's doing is hopping across to Medtech, looking to see if there's any new updates that haven't already been downloaded. It's telling me there's not, and giving me the summary of Medtech information that I can scroll through at the bottom here. Okay, so I can see any measurements that have gone into Medtech, who they were recorded by and when. I can see any immunisations that have gone into Medtech. I can see their conditions as recorded in Medtech. Now, we are considering ways that we might be able to get those conditions and bring them in as health diagnoses within VCare. It's a little tricky, obviously, because the GPs have got something like 45,000 health diagnoses that they could choose, and we don't want to have a list of 45,000 health diagnoses in VCare to match them to. So we're just trying to figure out exactly how we might be able to do that. We've also got our medical warnings there, which obviously align with the alerts that we've already automatically created in VCare. We've got our consultation note, and we've got our diagnostic reports down there as well. So basically all the summary information from that Medtech record accessible within VCare, and as soon as I go away from that screen and back to it, it's gone again, and I need to click the button and get up-to-date information again every time. Okay, so that's how we would do that Medtech integration. And as I mentioned, that is something that is available to sites now. It is something that we've worked on with one of our client sites, being Elizabeth Knox, and so it's developed and piloted with the team at Elizabeth Knox. And so the next item I think that we've got on our agenda is linking into somebody from Elizabeth Knox. Jess is going to do the introduction and the link there.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. I'd now like to introduce Margaret Brown from Elizabeth Knox to talk about how they've been using it and what it has meant for them. I appreciate we're quite a bit ahead of schedule at the moment as well. So that she was available.
Hello all. I'm hear from EMC's login.
Hi, Margaret. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Richard, for asking me to talk about our experience of integrating V-Care and Medtech here at Elizabeth Knox Home and Hospital. Just a brief introduction about our care home here in Epsom in Auckland. Elizabeth Knox Home and Hospital is a large care home where we do only care here at Knox. We don't have any independent living, and we don't have a retirement village. And we currently, Knox is home to 215 residents here on the Epsom site, and that's our only site that we have. Of those 215 residents, about 85% of them, just over 85% of them, are all hospital level care. One of the things that we do have here at Knox, which is perhaps a bit different from what other sites have, is we do have our own medical practice. So we are the Knox medical practice is part of the Auckland PHO. And so the way that we provide medical service to our residents is that all our residents sign up to become enrolled with our Knox medical practice. And we have a small group of contracted GPs that provide the medical service here. So we have 9 sessions a week of GP clinics. So in terms of of integration with Medtech, it seemed when we heard from Chris and Richard that it was on the horizon and that they were wanting to introduce this integration, it made good sense for us to put up our hand to be involved in the being the beta site for that. We now have the integration successfully running here at Knox. Why we wanted it and what we were trying to address was that as part of our documentation of medical consultations, GPs at Knox here had been always, ever since they started, been copying and pasting from Medtech that they were using as their consultation notes as part of the Knox medical practice. We were very keen for those notes to be copied and pasted into V-Care so that our V-Care resident clinical record was a comprehensive one that was documenting nursing care, physio care, OT care, as well as the medical care. So for quite a few years, our GPs had been very conscientiously copying and pasting whatever they wrote into the Medtech note. They were copying and pasting that into our V-Care progress notes. There are some very obvious risks with that that we felt uncomfortable about, but we wanted the benefits of the integrated and comprehensive clinical record for all our residents. And of course, the risk was that they could copy or paste into the wrong record. So care had to be taken that all records were copied and pasted into the correct one. And also, of course, it was time consuming for our GPs. So I was always very grateful that they were diligent enough and committed enough to a comprehensive record that they did that. So In terms of the integration, what it has meant for Knox is that now the GPs, they just write into their Medtech consultation notes, and they do all the clinical record keeping in the Medtech record. And through the integration, any of our team at any time when they go into a resident record, they can click on that external link and automatically there's a download of the information that's in Medtech as Richard has demonstrated, and that gets automatically, I never know whether it's uploaded or downloaded, Richard. It's probably uploaded, is it? Uploaded into the VCare record. It took a little while. We had really good service from Hayden at VCare in terms of our working out what was working and what was not. There were a few changes that needed to be made that Hayden was very responsive with. For example, some of our residents or the medical service means that they have a assigned attending GP, but if they need to be seen out of hours or on a day that GP is it does not attending at Knox, then they might be seen by another GP. So there were things like needing to have not only that it was a Medtech consultation note, but which GP it was that had actually seen that resident on that day. And as I say, VCare and Medtech, I found them very responsive in terms of working out some of those improvements and changes once we got it running. So we've had the integration now probably for 2 to 3 months. And it did take a little bit of changes in terms of our some of our admission details, and because it's really important that the integration is linked to the correct medical practice. In our case, that's easy because all our residents are part of the Knox medical practice, and but we did find that link was a little bit problematic for a while. But once again, VCare and Medtech have been very responsive and have quickly addressed any issues that we've found. So in terms of the benefits for Knox, the benefits are very real in terms of, and we've worked it out in terms of the number of hours per month saved by GPs not having to copy and paste. And it's something like about 10 hours a month that we believe that we are saving in GP time. And of course, we have reduced that risk of the manual method of copying and pasting. We've reduced the risk that of the copying and pasting of a consultation going into the wrong record. So our GPs are happy, our CEO's happy, I'm happy, and our commercial manager's happy because we are saving in terms of medical staff time. So thank you, Richard, and thank you, Chris, for the great integration.
Thank you very much, Margaret. We appreciate you coming along to share your experience.
Very much appreciated indeed. And if anyone's interested in the Medtech interface, we're very, very happy to talk to you about how we can make that happen. I think Margaret's got some fantastic experience there and having come along on the journey with it, but it is very, very good. It is, as you saw when Richard was showing it briefly before, it's quite fast, and there is a small fee with it, but the fee is just reflects the fact there's a whole bunch of integration and technology that needs to
What I will say, Chris and Richard, and I think I've said it to you, but I did mean to say that I wasn't too sure when Chris and Richard were talking about it, just what the user interface would look like, and just what the information, how it would if you like, look and fit into VCare. And I was incredibly impressed in terms of the way that the information is pulled through, what it looks like, and how it nestles into the progress notes. So we here at Knox, at the same time as doing the integration, we were also introducing what we call our caregivers. We call them our care partners. Those are our healthcare assistants or healthcare givers. We also were introducing, enabling them and also encouraging them to be contributing to the progress notes. So we have a care partner progress note type, and they write their progress notes along with the doctors, along with the registered nurses, along with physios and the OTs. The care partners write their progress notes using the VCare Anywhere app by sitting with residents and recording just little bits of stories about residents' lives, rather than it being, terribly clinical. And so for me, having that fully comprehensive care record by getting the medical consultation notes from Medtech Integration, and also being able to have the care partners using the VCare Anywhere, I do believe we've got very comprehensive clinical and life record of residents' health, really.
Thank you, Margaret, and thank you so much for the help you gave us with our team when they're putting together the functionality, the feedback. It's been invaluable. So I'm sure Margaret wouldn't mind a question or two if she ended up with them, but we're very happy to field them, of course, and if you'd like to try that exciting functionality, just let us know.